Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Ibrahim and today we're going to talk about bank reconciliation statements. So before we start this topic, we just need to understand that the whole ideology behind this statement is basically to match the bank statement balance to the cash book bank balance. So now this is done for a variety of reasons. Sometimes these both balances are not matching, which obviously they should. So we find out the differences and then we write it in the bank reconciliation statement, which also helps us identify frauds and sometimes errors. Okay. So, everything has a cause, so we have to find out what's the cause of why there are differences between a between a bank statement and a cash book balance. There are numerous, but the few very well known are obviously the timing differences. Because look, for example, when I would issue a check to be paid to a supplier, obviously the bank's gonna take 2 to 3 days to process it and then transfer the amount to that supplier's account. So while I have already written this amount down in my cash book as a credit entry, the bank statement has yet not shown it on its bank statement. So obviously there's gonna be this difference, right? So now we come to the whole ideology on how we prepare this and the terminologies involved in it. So first of all, you need to understand, okay, it can either start as a balance as per bank statement or as a balance as per the cash book. So when it starts as a balance as per bank statement, we are going to match the bank statement's balance to the cash book balance. But bear in mind, we do not fix any errors which have come into in the bank statement, the cash book. Our only purpose over here is to identify those errors, because my personal doubt was obviously due to the fact that I was confused. Okay, we are going to fix these errors. So what I want to put over here is that we use these statements to identify the errors but not to fix them yet. We do that in journal entries. Okay, so now when it starts with the balance as per cash book, it means we're going to match the firm's cash book's bank balance to the bank statement's balance. Okay, now I know I say it now a lot, but that's my trademark then. Okay, so we've got to understand some more terminologies over here. Obviously we've got dishonored checks. So dishonored checks could also be taken as bounce checks, because this usually occurs when a bank has said that we do not accept your check, and the most famous reason for this is because the amount that's stated on the check cannot be paid due to the person having insufficient amount of funds. Now, second reason, the second, third, and fourth reason, these are pretty much tested in our exams. The first reason, usually I have personally not seen too much in the exams. Okay, so now unpresented checks are also known as outstanding checks. Basically are that when you have issued a check but that has not yet been recorded by the bank. Okay, and over then okay, you're going to understand more of this when we solve 2 or 3 examples in the future. So uncredited deposits. Okay, so uncredited deposits and deposits in transit, these are the same words. They can confuse you, by the way, by these. In some instances they're also known as outstanding lodgements, but you won't see them in your exams, so you're good to go, I hope. Okay, so outstanding lodgements is another terminology for this. So this is what happens. Okay, for example, let's say you sell you provide a service to your customer, and then he says, okay, I have transferred the amount to your account, and he sends you a screenshot or he sends the picture of a check. So you're gonna write this down in your cash book as a debit entry, and you're gonna assume that you have received this amount. However, the bank has not yet received the amount due to the processing time of 2 to 3 days. So this would be treated as the uncredited deposits. That is, you have recorded this in your cash book, but the bank has yet not recorded this as an income received in their bank statement. Okay, so now we are going to understand the format of the bank reconciliation statements. So first of all, just keep in mind that the bank errors are interactive and subjective, so you have to just understand at the particular moment that we're going to either add it or we're going to subtract it. Okay, so Now we're going to see this, that the balance as per the bank statement. What do we mean by this? It means that we're going to match the bank statement balance to the cash box bank balance. So the reason why we are adding the deposit in transit is that you might remember that I explained to you earlier that the deposit in transit or uncredited deposits are basically when the firm has recorded that we have received this amount, but the bank statement has not yet recorded it because they have not processed it till now. So the bank statement is obviously less than the cash book balance due to this reason. So this is why we're going to add the deposit in transit. I'm going to come to the bank error after the unpresented check. So now put in your mind, what are unpresented checks? Unpresented checks are basically that when we have issued a check, okay? We have issued a check, so it means we're going to write this in the credit side of a cash book. We're going to say that we have deducted this amount and we have paid it to the supplier, but the bank has still not processed the check and has still not let that money out of the bank account. So the bank statement's balance is going to be higher than the cash book balance due to the unpresented check. So we're going to deduct the unpresented check to match the bank statement's balance to the cash book balance, and we're going to add the deposit in transit to the bank statement's balance to match the cash book balance. I know it sounds quite difficult, but first of all, even if you want, you can listen to this at lower pace and you'll understand it in 2 or 3 times, and obviously with practice, because as we all know, practice makes a man perfect. So now we're going to go up to the next part, which is to balance as per cash book. Now remember, we are trying to now match the cash book's bank balance to the bank statement's bank balance. So now we're going to add the unpresented checks because we have deducted this amount from our cash book and the bank has still not let this amount out of the bank account because they have not yet approved or processed the check. Okay, so this means the bank statement balance is going to be higher than the cash book. So since we are trying to match the cash book balance to the bank balance, so we're going to add that unpresented check. Okay, and I'll come to the bank error later for this as well. So now why we reduce the deposits in transit is quite simple, because look, we have received this amount as the firm says, okay, and they have recorded in the cash book. So this shows that the cash book balance is greater than the bank statement balance. Okay, so to mitigate this impact and to match the cash book bank balance to the bank statement's bank balance, we're going to reduce the deposit in transit amount. Okay, I hope you guys can understand this because it does look quite confusing, but I assure you that now when we're going to come to this example, this is by the way from Olevel 7110 November 12 paper 1-2 question number 7. First of all, you need to just quite understand these 2 facts. Okay, this one and this one, this one and this one. You just need to memorize it, and obviously if you know the reason, it's going to aid you, because even if you forget this during the exam time, you're just going to be quite chill that okay, no issues, I know the reason, so you're going to crack it anyways. So now the first thing that I would do if I was in your place now, I never used to do this in my papers, but I would underline that a bank reconciliation statement starts with the balance in the cash book, since you see I've already underlined it, because this is very important. Okay, so now the bank it includes, you need to realize that this means that the bank reconciliation statement includes uncredited deposits and unpresented checks. It also includes a bank error because the bank charges have been deducted twice on the bank statement. Okay, so this para looks quite different, and what are we going to do for this? Okay, good question. First of all, realize that this says in the cash book. So now when we go over here to the pro forma, we have to see that when the balance as per cash book, the reconciliation starts with this, we always add the unpresented checks and reduce the deposits in transit. However, remember that this could also be added. This could also be added. It all depends on the situation. Okay, we can't just say the bank errors are going to be deducted or added. It just depends. Okay, So start with the cash book. Number one thing, what was added to the cash book? Unpresented checks, right? And what was deducted from the cash book? And that was uncredited deposits. So first thing we can see that since the options A and B are absolutely wrong because we do not add the uncredited deposit to the cash book, we deduct them. So we're just going to remove these two options, and now we need to just find out a final answer from option C or from option D. Now look at this. It also includes a bank error because bank charges have been deducted twice on the bank statement. Okay, so now let's understand this. What are we going to do about this? Okay, so let's say that we have a bank charge of maybe $500. Okay, $500, which the bank has deducted twice, and that's an error. So now the bank statement balance it's going to be lower than the cash book balance, right? Because this bank charges, they're shown on the bank statement. Okay, we are usually not aware about when these charges have been imposed, so they are not usually shown on the cash book. So the cash book balance will not be including this this bank error amount. So obviously what we need to realize is that the bank statement balance is gonna be less than the cash book is gonna be less than the cash book balance. So which means that we have to deduct the bank error. Okay, so this is over here, which is why C is going to be answer. So I'm just going to explain it to you in a written form, that we have the balance as per cash book, balance as per cash book. Okay, we add the unpresented checks. Okay, and does anyone remember the reason why we add the unpresented checks? The reason is quite simple, because we have deducted this amount from the cash book, but the bank has not yet deducted it. So the bank statement is greater than the cash book. Since we're matching the cash book to the bank statement, it means we're going to add this amount, and then the uncredited deposit. We're going to deduct the uncredited deposit, and the reason very simple for this as well, because look, we have said that okay, the firm has received this money, I have recorded it in the cash book, so the cash book balance over here is greater than the bank balance, okay, bank statements balance. So we have to deduct the cash book balance, because remember, we are trying to match it, we're not trying to rectify anything, we're trying to match this cash book balance to the bank statement balance. So over here we need to also see one more thing. The reason why we are deducting the bank error is also quite simple, because the bank statement is understated. Due to this error, the bank statement is reduced, right? So this means that the cash book is greater than the bank statement, and since we are matching it to the bank statement, we have to detect the bank error in order for the both amounts on the cash book and on the bank statement to be the same and to match, and that is why the bank reconciliation statement is used. Okay guys, I hope that this video was of some help to you. If you guys did find out this video helpful, then do let me know. I'm gonna make sure that I make more videos on topics such as, you know, subscription accounts and other accounts, like just understanding the accounting equation. And do let me know if you want me to cover past paper questions regarding different topics in the comment section, and I'll see you in more videos in the future. Take care, bye.